What's up, guys? It is masochistic mindset. Um, yeah, it's been a while. It's been a long time actually. But I'll try to maybe towards the end of the video just update you guys on what I've been through from the time that I wrote my finals till maybe December, right? But yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's to you guys, and I hope you guys had a great year. Had a great year last year, and are gonna have a great year. I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas. I hope you guys enjoyed your New Year's Eve as well. And yeah, man, let's get to business. So you guys saw the video, the Pareto Principal, or the 80-20 rule, right? Or in economics, it's known as the Pareto efficiency, right? So the Pareto Principle, right, was invented or brought about by the late philosopher Vilfredo Pareto, right? So this gentleman was born on the 15th of July 1848, and he sadly passed away on the 19th of August 1923, right? He was known as an Italian polymath, right? And a polymath is just a fancy word for a jack of all trades, meaning that his intellects and his interests, and he learned so much in a lot of areas, not just one thing, not just philosophy or not just history, but in so many areas, right? So that is a polymath, right? So he was known as an Italian polymath. His interests delved into history, philosophy, economics, sociology, political sciences, and so much more, right? So Mr. Vilfredo was, wanting to get something to eat, man. And right, so he goes out to his garden. And as he's going out to his garden, he's collecting pea pods and just to take out some peas and stuff like that. So as he collects these pea pods and puts them in a tray or in a box or whatever, right, he picks out the peas and sets them aside. And then what he realizes is that 80% of the peas that he had just collected come from 20% of the pea pods that were outside his garden. And then man, it's whatever, right? He didn't pay much attention to it. But then this is where the frequency illusion starts to kick in, right? The frequency illusion is basically when you notice one thing, maybe a new thing that you never noticed before, all of a sudden it's everywhere now. Maybe when you see a nice red car, maybe a Ferrari or anything, now all of a sudden when you go out, you're seeing, damn, everyone is a Ferrari, something like that, right? So the frequency illusion does kick in after this realization that he has, or this phenomenon that he has, because he realizes that 80% of the wealth in Italy and 80% of the land in Italy is owned by only 20% of the powerful people in Italy at that time, right? And he goes out, he shares this phenomenon that he has just discovered, and it becomes like well-known, famous, excuse me, and that is proven by the fact that, I don't know, 100 years later, a random boy is speaking about it from South Africa. But so it is famous, and businesses start to take up this phenomenon. And the reason why they take up this is because they also realize that 80% of the output in the company is produced by 20% of their workers. And 80% of the profits that they have made comes from 20% of the customers that they have. So what do businesses do? The 80% of outputs that they get from the 20% of workers, they make sure that they prioritize those 20% of workers, give them bonuses, give them raises, do whatever it takes to ensure that they stay. And for the customers, the 20% of customers who are responsible for the 80% of profits, what they do to those customers, obviously they give them bonuses, they give them discounts. And the reason why this is so important and why this is the first video that I make for the year, I know it is weird, like what, but it is because so many people for the year of 2026 will obviously have a different approach, will want to have a different approach to the year. Maybe they saw what moment last year wasn't a year that I can actually be proud of. I think I could have worked harder. I think I could have done this better. So 2026 is gonna be my year. So then if you are this person who is sparked up by these same thoughts, then the Pareto principle will be an important inventory in your closet. Because what you can do is that you can backtrack, look at 2025 and look at the 80% of the good results that you wanted, right? And once I think you're gonna realize that it comes from 20% of inputs that you had put in, or 20% of work that you put in. Once you realize that, then I think for 2026, what you can do is that you can prioritize those 20% of inputs that led to 80% of the results that you wanted to see. So then, for people, since I'm done with school, I'm done with school finally. But for people who are still in school, let's say for an example, you are doing economics, right? And maybe you get a test, and test out of 100 you get 60 or 65, whatever, right? And you are not quite happy. Maybe you want to be in a university or whatever. So these results doesn't make you satisfied. It doesn't make you happy. So then what you do is that you backtrack and you think to yourself, okay, the results that I got came from studying, right? Now let's look at how I studied. Yes, I did this. Yes, I maybe read whatever concept that I was reading. Maybe it's whatever concept that you were reading. You read that, right? You highlighted some points that were important to you. You did past papers. You watched videos. Let's say you did so many things, but then what you realize is that no, man, there were only a minority of things that actually helped me. Like for me, when I was maybe studying for economics, because economics was a bit hard for me at the beginning, but then what I realized is that no, man, when I highlight, when I do especially past papers, that is where I get better results. So I realized that, yeah, sure, I can do so many things, but there's only 20% of inputs that I usually put in that actually lead to 80% of the results. So what you do is that you actually focus on that 20% of inputs that you do. You go to the gym and you realize, man, yes, I am building muscle, but there's only a few workouts that maybe hit my traps, right? Not all. Out of the 10 workouts that I hit, maybe 2 hit my traps. So then you focus on those 2. That is basically what I'm saying, because it will be very, very useful, especially going into a new year. Instead of wanting to prioritize so many things for 2026, saying that, you know what, I want to gain more muscle, I want to pass better, I want to be a content creator, anything, right? You focus on the 20% of actions that lead to 80% or more of the results that you want to see more. And I think that way you actually become more time efficient, and you understand the value of putting in the work, not just putting in the work, right? And my experience with this was when I was in high school, right? When I was in high school, I used to sell sweets, but not last year, because obviously last year I was the deputy president, so I was going to get in trouble for that. But I used to sell sweets, and what I would do is that I would read books, like business books and stuff like that, because what I had thought at the time is that, okay, sure, maybe selling sweets is something small, it's not really a big business, right? But some of the skills that I would have learned then are skills that I would learn when I one day have a big business, right? So what I did was I learned about the Pareto efficiency, and I wrote down the customers that I would sell to that would give me like 80% of my profits. Like these were, I'm a cheese boy, you know. Cheese boy refers, or people in school that had money, basically, right? So I would write down the people that actually like write that. I would write down the names of the customers that would actually give me like, that would actually like buy a lot, like the cheese boys, the ones with money, and the teachers, right? And I would write their names, and I would make sure that when I have my stock, when I go to school, I go to them first. I give them discounts. When they say, hey dude, I want to buy 10 sweets, please give me 12. Usually I was stubborn-headed with others, the others who just buy once in a while. But those ones, the ones that actually give me 80% of my profits, take the discount, take it, right? And then another thing that I realized is that okay, I would buy a bulk load of sweets, different sweets. But then obviously when you are selling, you realize, man, you know, there are people who, most of the people prefer these sweets over those ones. And let's say the sweets that they prefer are the 20%, right? So these 20% of sweets lead to 80% of my profit, and lead to 80% of, and lead to like more people coming to buy from me. And that's where the Pareto efficiency was incredibly useful to me. And I think that it can be an aid to you guys, the ones who want to maybe change their approach for this year. Maybe for the ones who are like, you know what, last year was not my year, it wasn't quite a year that I had planned in the beginning of it, but for this year I want to try something new. Then maybe this is something that you can look into, right? Do your research, obviously, but look into it, man. And if it actually seems sensible to you, if it makes sense, if it feels right, then do it. And you're gonna see that, no, man, I'm doing so many of these things, I'm running around doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, burning so much energy. Kandi, there's only 20% of inputs that I actually put in that lead to 80% of the results that I want to see. So once you obviously optimize on that, you're going to be able to improve that 20% and find a way to turn that 20% into an 80%. And yeah, man, that's the video, or that was the main purpose of this video. But yeah, to update you guys on what I've been doing. So the finals, right? I studied hard, man. I could have studied harder, no cap, but I did well. I wrote well. There were some papers where I wrote, I was like, I'm not sure. Not that I would fail, but I'm not sure if I would get the results that I want to get. But we push, man. We try so much. After that, exams finished. We were so happy. There was matric dance. Yeah, it was lit, and I looked elite. You should have seen me out there. But yeah, I looked proper. Yeah, the matric dance was so nice. The camp, because we went to a matriculant type of camp, it was great. It was fun. Yes, I'm gonna retract on the fun, but it was okay, to be honest. Yeah, and then December has been meh. It hasn't been, nothing much has happened. Christmas was nice, spent time with the fam, that was good. New Year's Eve was whack as hell. But yeah, man, 2026, it's our year, man. It's our year. Let's make a lot of our dreams come true. Let's crush our goals. The 80-20 rule can be beneficial for you guys. Like I said, do your research. Yeah, I'm sorry for maybe there's a change in the background and you guys are not quite used to it, because I really do prefer going out there in the park, and because there I brainstorm properly and it feels so ethereal, man, and just so tranquil, unlike in here, just But yeah, very soon I will get a better phone. I will get an iPhone, and then I will record frequently. I won't need anyone's phone or anyone's camera. I will be uploading much more frequently. There's so much plans for this year, and there's so many goals to crush, and I trust that you guys are gonna crush your goals. And usually I leave you guys with a quote. I'm not too sure on what to say for this, but it's my phone. I'm looking for my phone. I'm using it to record. Let me see here if I have anything. This is my journal. Here's the other one. Here's the other journal. But yeah, my journals here. I write so many things here. Let's get a journal as well, guys. Journals are really, really useful. And journaling is part of the 20% that leads to 80% of the outcomes that I want. But let's see what quotes. Sorry. I'm looking for a quote of the day, a quote of the video. Man, I can't find the quotes, and I write so many quotes here. I write so many quotes that I think about. I just need one for you guys. Yeah. I don't know whose quote is this, but yeah. Sometimes you've got to go with what you've got or not go at all. Bye, guys.